These are our 2 ball fields. They were, well, now they're approximately the same size. The field on the left is the field that we've used the last 2 years for softball, and it is the better field. This field was much smaller and has only been used for things like t-ball practice and so on. But now, as you see, the fence has been moved back, and there are the piles of dirt in right field, and I'll walk down and shoot some closer. Okay, here is the backstop, and it's not very high. That's maybe 9 or 10 feet right there above the ground. So the majority of any kind of foul ball is going to go over that, unless it's just a foul tip that goes straight back. The fence backstop on the softball field is not much higher, but it hasn't been an issue because nothing has been going on back in this area. But of course now there'll be games going on simultaneously here, softball here, baseball here, and so I'm concerned about the spectators and people coming and going in this area. So we'll be putting up netting about 24 feet high here, and Carolina fence, WNC fence, will be doing that, and the school will be paying for that, and that will be several $1,000s. Here's our infield. As you see, it's completely not an infield. It's just a bunch of scrubby grass. And I did ask Mr. Anderson and Mr. Truitt to also submit a bid for just blading all of this out of here, and then we plan to have dirt hauled in, and again the school will be paying for all that process. And now I'm going to walk down to left field and start to show you some of what I'm talking about with the outfield fence. Now approaching the left field fence, and you can see the line. This is where, let me pull back, this is where the fence formerly was. You can see the trail kind of going off there in the distance, starting to curve. This is as far back as we could move the left field fence, because there's a dramatic drop right here. I'm not sure how well this is really showing up on camera, but this will be where we will have to build the Purple Monster and extend this fence up. We have 24 feet poles from WNC fence that they're going to insert, but at least 4 feet of that has to be in the ground, so we're only going to be able to build this up to about 20 feet high, and again using netting because that's more cost effective than fencing. It's UV rated where it should last a long time, plus we can maybe take it down in the off season to make it last a little bit longer. That's still going to be pretty close, well under 300 feet. Probably still be a lot of home runs down here, but we'll tell our pitchers to keep the ball low and outside to those right-handed hitters. I'm going to start walking out through here. Now, included in the bid from Mr. Anderson and Mr. Truitt is also addressing where the fence used to be, because looks like maybe about every 6 to 8 feet there are holes in the ground where the old fence was, but they say that they can take a blade and fill these in, smooth these out. But you can see the old curvature going out through there, at least hopefully you can. You might see that orange flag in the distance, and that marks where the old fence was. So the fence has been moved a lot, pretty far back, so it will be difficult to hit a home run in center field, but that's still only about 280 feet there in dead center. And starting to walk this way, there are the piles of dirt. There's 5 of them at 16.5 tons per pile. That's still not enough to fill in the hole. And they stopped the fence at my request right here at right center. And reason being, that's where the big drop or hole starts. If I look over there, toward the end of the fence, which you can see beyond the piles, that's where really the big downward slope starts and continues on down here to where the new fence would be. I haven't shot it with a transit. For one, I don't know how to do that, but if I did, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm not standing now about 6 feet lower than right over there before the field starts to drop downhill. So it's this area here in behind these dirt piles all the way over to the sideline fence that will need to be filled up. And there's these piles of dirt. This won't go very far. Robbie Truitt, his estimate was that probably about 30 more loads would be necessary, not necessarily to get this perfectly level with the field, but at least get it where it's not going to be so bad that a fielder running back tracking a fly ball is not going to be running downhill to the point that they're going to actually lose their balance and be throwing the ball back up out of a hole. That's his estimate. Right there's a large clump of trees, and Mr. Adams suggested possibly back when he was going to do this, taking the dirt from out of there, cutting out the smaller stuff, getting rid of it, leaving the bigger trees, and so it'd be a short distance as far as where the dirt would be brought. Mr. Truitt and Mr. Anderson really favor other locations as far as where to get the dirt, but we do have a lot of acreage here on Martins Creek, and I'm sure we can, Martins Creek campus that is, I'm sure we can find a good place to get some dirt. This sideline fence here, by the way, also will be extending up again just to protect from foul balls, and that sideline fence over there, third base side, again, that will all be paid for somehow by the school. So that's what we're looking at in a nutshell. That's a lot of deep ruts right there from the dump trucks who brought in this dirt. And of course, Mr. Anderson or Mr. Truitt, either one could correct that. But we'd have a large expanse out here where we would have no grass, but maybe or maybe not we can find a solution to that. Obviously, it's too late in the year to plant grass, but Mr. Anderson had an idea that might be feasible, at least it'd be worth trying, which would be to skim some grass from another area. He says he has a machine that could roll it up, for example, from somewhere in this area or another area, transplant all that grass here, and then sow grass back where you robbed it from. But that's it, kind of, and I hope this visual makes it easier to understand what we're looking at. Thank you.